So hello, my name is Miriam Vanderbilk and I'm a philosopher from Sweden, and I'm talking today to Josef Miriam, who is a psychologist and healer from Sweden, and Dyonne, who is a healer from Holland. And our constant topic is personal development from any and every direction. And today, I know that Dyonne and Josef have been reading and looking at clips by Bill Plotkin and David Abram. And so from each of your perspectives, who are these people and why are they so interesting? Who wants to start? Josef.
Well, I can start also, since we've been talking about personal development and look at the and then to introduce David Abram. He's a philosopher, and he's they also call him an ecologist, and he's a very interesting guy, because he's been writing this book called The Spell of the Sensuous. The Spell of the Sensuous. And this what it really includes, it's kind of saying that we are part of a bigger ecological scheme, or not scheme, but part, that saying to divide ourselves into persons that we are persons, but we also belong to the earth. We also belong to the other creatures, some animism. So we are part of it, but it's very difficult for us to be part of this, because there is some difficulties to really be part, and we have divided ourselves, for we have scattered the importance of getting together with the earth. We have divided ourselves with different things, like with old philosophers, like saying Descartes, for example, like je pense donc je suis, meaning I think, therefore I am. But it's more than that, it's the body is also part of something bigger, and that's the earth and everything else. So there is we have divided, and also the academics is also dividing itself. Your object, you're looking at things, you're trying to be objective in all the times, but in this spell of the sensuous is kind of to let yourself be part of everything, not looking at the ecology, but be part of the ecology. It's totally different from the ecologists, that the so-called ecologists looking at what's going on. In that part, you become part of the forest. When you touch the tree also touches you. When you caress the dog, also the dog is caressing you. It's something that goes on, and it's so that kind of a feeling is something that we have lost in a way, and we have to get back to this, and we have lost this, and we have actually, since the earth has not got the feeling of us being part of it, we did not caress the earth for a long time. The earth is really, there's a lot of damage in the earth. There is a lot of things that we need to heal, and this kind of healing is maybe a difficult part, because what actually I feel that Abram is David Abram is saying is, well, you have to be part of it, but he says also that the threshold that you have to overcome in order to be part of it is some kind of mourning, grief that you have to go through because you haven't been treating the other things in a good way. So you have to kind of, in order to be part of it, there is a grief part, and this is something that we have forgotten. It's not just limping in, into the to be part of a bigger whole. It's something that we have to grieve, but in the grief is something that you, if you go into that, you come out into being part of this thing. But it's not just going there, and say, I'm part of it. Yeah, we can all feel part of the bigger whole, but there's a more effort of doing that, and that is the personal development also of grieving, because in the grief of somebody, you can leave it afterwards, the grief, and be something else, because the grief is a very good important thing of developing. And this is also so Plotkin. We talked about Plotkin before. This Bill Plotkin. He has a very. He's also in conjunction with Abram, saying that yes, you can come down to the kind of the ecological feeling of being part of something bigger, but also there you need to do some kind of initiation of the soul. It's this initiation process. It's a kind of a suffering, but this suffering is giving you the gift of being part of this earth. So it's because there has been so much damage to the environment, and we need to heal this in ourselves also, because healing it in ourselves, you're also healing in the earth.
Yeah. Oh, I'm having so many images in my head now. Can I tell you? Yes.
Yeah.
So about my first thought was that I remembered suddenly when I was talking philosophy to 8-year-olds in school, and the very first class I went to, this is several years ago now, and there was this little guy, and he said, so like, I can see myself, I can look at my arm, but I can't see my eyes. And then, and this is like a profound truth about something, about vision, and about reflection and things like that. And when I listened to what you were saying about healing Earth and the grief at the like the grief over the past, the space and the past, and that all of these very important super abstract things. I was just it just felt like the grief is what it is what recognizes that there has been a problem, there is a problem, something needs to be done, and the tears are the water for the soil. So this is why we need,
exactly. That's exactly what David Abram was saying, that we are actually giving back to the tears. By doing that, it will open up for us.
And it's such a necessary process of awakening this awareness, because grief is so imperative for, well, you cannot heal if you're not acknowledging, if you're not aware, if you don't know. We have to know it's collective, and you called it a scheme, but you meant bigger scheme of things. I know that, but Bill Plotkin said we are all part of this ecosystem. It's an eco-communion.
Yes.
And we all have to do our thing, our part, and show up in this eco-communion that we're all a piece, a person, a particle in and of. And he no, not Bill Plotkin. I read something also about this thing called deep ecology, which is actually what this is all about.
Yes.
Where they say it's so necessary now to shift our focus from our egocentric point of view. I don't mean egotistic in terms of we're all narcissists, but like focusing on ourselves as a human being. We have to shift our focus to how are we as a human being a part of this entire system, of this entire ecosystem, and how can we when we contribute or when we develop, how can we do that taking the whole into account? And that's what the whole deep ecology is all about, where Bill Plotkin and David Abram are so
actually
pioneering in. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if I want to fill in there, is saying it's not about putting yourself on the side, because it's not a zero-sum game. By focusing on yourself, you're also focusing on the earth.
Yes.
So it's that's very important, say, because usually people say, you know, you have to focus on this one, and then you cannot focus on yourself. No, by focusing on yourself, you're focusing also on the earth.
Yeah.
That's it's not a zero-sum game.
No, and what we mean with focusing on the self is not materialistic. It's not about the job and the house.
No.
It's about the psyche and the, So I mean, we understand it, but it's important for people to understand what we mean with that.
It's a super important point, and it's come up in my life several times lately. This focusing on yourself, because we were taught that was a bad thing, and that you think about other people. And you should put everyone else in front of you. And then there's this brilliant thing in airplanes, you know, you should put your own mask on first before you help someone else.
Yes, I love that.
You know, the best metaphor for life. But this is the reason you need to focus on yourself, is because you have understood that we are part of this evolving planet and evolving humanity. So if you don't focus on yourself, you're stopping everyone. I'm like, this is an important point, and we need to do this. And when we in philosophy, when we talk about eudaimonia, flourishing, like the good life, how to become who you are, and finding your finding out what kind of seed you are, so that you can give yourself the right nourishment and flourish and blossom and flourish. So when we talk about that, the most important part is to understand yourself, know thyself, you know, and to know thyself. The first knowledge of yourself is that we are members of one another. This wonderful quote from, I don't know, but that's like the psychological point of view and reason for this. We are members of each other. We're all members of each other, but that's like number one. And number two, the spiritual truth is that there is a whole. There's another whole that's even bigger than all these parts and all these memberships. And unless we understand that, we can't flourish. We can't do anything. We can't evolve, and we will only come so far. You know. Oh, I'm getting all fired up about this.
Good for you.
No, yes, it's very good, because this book, you know, like Spell of the Sensuous, is also about feeling the sensuous part of you being part of something bigger, which will also makes it that you are evolving also your own senses. You're like being sensuous. with the
Movement.
yes, potent, yes, meaning opening up to your sensuality, even if you use this kind of word. It's being attracted to the earth, to other people, to something bigger.
Yes, and then Bill Plotkin, because their work are so related and intertwined in a way. Bill Plotkin, he wrote 4 books. One was called The Wild Mind, and that's actually the first book that he explores how our minds are mapped in a way, and he gives you like these old treasure maps where you can look at your own mind, like how you perceive yourself. He goes into how other people will perceive you. He talks about your inner protectors and the rebels, and well, it's kind of shadow work. It's very Jungian based because Bill Plotkin used to be a psychotherapist, and he worked with the work of Jung. So he started there with this journey, and he dove in deeper. So the Wild Mind is first about exploring your own mind and knowing yourself on the level of the psyche. Then he wrote a book, it's called Soulcraft, and he dives deeper in what the soul is and the purpose of the soul, and he gives more tangible exercises also to awaken the soul. Same as with the Wild Mind, they all come with a working book or exercises. And the latest work that Josef and I both listened to was the Journey of the Soul Initiation. It's both a book and a recording. And then he goes to the next level. He says, like, okay, so when you've done the other work, then you're ready for your descent of the soul as part of this eco community that we live in. And then you're ready to do the work to show up with all of you and take your place and relate to other beings. And what he does in the institution where he's located, he does a lot of retreats with people, and you go into nature, not fishing quest, but sort of fishing quests, like where you really become one with nature, and also more exercises, obviously, for the soul and the mind. But he does holistic retreats, and he provides a lot for people to experience bits of the descent of the soul, and then you can work with it for yourself as well. So it's not for the light-hearted, but
No, but but I want
to take it, Joseph. Yeah.
Yes, so to continue here, also he talks about actually maturation, that we need to go through that we have to mature as human beings, and he's saying that most of us usually today are not getting to be more than adolescents, getting to this stage, and we need to be more of adults, and this kind of process is getting us to be more adults, and but it's a difficult process, but it's a very rewarding one also. So and it says that sometimes people prefer to stay in the adolescence, and they kind of die in the adolescence, and that's also tragic in a way, that people kind of stay there, in this.
And not everyone is capable of descending.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
It's
maybe that's a good end for this.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. I wanted to talk about. We'll start the next episode with the word vision quest. Because you mentioned that, and I think we want to say something about that. But it's so funny. I think it's really funny how the word the descent of the soul comes up all the time, because we're so used to thinking the ascent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's a good ending.
Yeah. It's also the kind of importance also, because usually we think of up there is a good thing, down there is the devil.
Yes.
Down is bad.
Yes.
We'll talk about that in the next episode with the vision
perfect.
quest.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.